happy holidays. Today I'm going to show you how to cook a really easy Christmas Day breakfast. Now my go-to is a scramble, and you can do that with any kind of meat. So a common one is sausage. You can also do turkey sausage or chicken sausage. It doesn't have to be pork. You can do bacon. That is really fatty. There's not a lot of protein content in there, but if that's what you're into, you could totally do bacon. I am gonna go meatless and really focus a lot on the vegetables and add eggs as my scramble. So what you're gonna need to do for this is first get your burners on. And you want to put them on medium. And then you want to get out your ingredients. So what I have is sweet potatoes already chopped up and diced. I have some peppers. They're yellow, green. You can add any color you want. I have some mushrooms, some spinach, and then avocado to put on top. The oil I am going to use is coconut oil because I feel like it'll go great with the sweet potatoes, but you can use butter, or if you're cooking with bacon, you can also use that bacon grease or sausage grease, any of the greases from your meat. So let me grab the coconut oil. This is from Costco if you need a huge value pack. And first what I'm going to do is grab some coconut oil and put it in your sweet potato pan. Probably like 1 or 2 tablespoons. It depends on how much sweet potatoes you're going to put in there. So after that melts a little bit, gonna add your sweet potato. So this is about a half of a sweet potato, like a medium-sized sweet potato. And I'm just gonna store the other half of the diced sweet potato so that way I can use it for a side dish for lunch or for dinner the next day. So I'm just gonna coat the sweet potatoes in the coconut oil. And since I'm gonna be pairing it with a nice egg scramble, I'm gonna use I'll use my Tony's ingredients. Tony Satcheries. If you're not into that, you can use salt and pepper, but I would add a nice little spice or kick to it. And I would just coat it enough to where you can see the seasoning. I'm a very messy cook if you can't tell already. So I just grab this. So make sure the sweet potatoes all are getting the seasoning. And from there, you're gonna put a top on it. So you're gonna let that cook for a while. And again, you want it on medium. So now let's come over here to your scramble. I'm actually going to use a little bit of avocado oil, but you can also use just regular extra virgin olive oil if you want. Either one, it doesn't matter. You just don't want a very strong taste. And I wouldn't even call that a tablespoon. You only want enough oil on here to coat the vegetables. So I'm going to sprinkle in the peppers. And if you're cooking peppers, onions, or anything hard like celery, I would cook that first before your softer vegetables like spinach or mushrooms, because that's going to cook really fast. And just to keep the taste congruent with the sweet potatoes, I'm also going to add Tony's. But if you want to do just straight salt and pepper, that's fine too. This is how you know I'm from Louisiana. So you're gonna let that cook for a little bit. And if you're gonna use a meat, I would brown that meat first or cook the meat. And again, either use the grease to cook your vegetables in there or just throw the vegetables in with the cooked meat and the oil from the meat. If you don't want the oil from the meat, you can literally drain it, and then the meat will still produce a little bit of oil and seasoned fat, and that would allow the vegetables to cook and get soft. So from there, just gonna add our mushrooms. And saute a little bit. So as you can tell, I'm really not waiting that long. Like, I doubt it's even a full minute. And you want to get the mushrooms coated with a little bit of the oil and the seasoning from the peppers. So you'll let that cook for a little bit. And while we're doing that, we'll get the eggs going. One thing I want to talk to y'all about is meal prepping. And it doesn't, I feel like everybody's like, oh, meal prepping is so hard, it takes so long. When in reality, it's not the case. So with the sweet potatoes, where I just took the leftover sweet potato from the hash or the scramble, that's already prepped. It's quote unquote meal prepped for our next meal. So say you're cooking some salmon, you can just literally pull the diced sweet potatoes out of the fridge, throw some coconut oil or any kind of oil on there, and stick it in a pan and just let it heat up. And that's it. So the point of that story is that you don't have to have a ton of meal prepped for you to take advantage of prepping before a meal. The goal of meal prep is just to save time. All right, the mushrooms are starting to soften up a little bit. So I'm going to add some spinach. And this came from the farmer's market, so they're nice and big. Now when you're cooking with spinach, whether you're sauteing it or mixing it with other vegetables, know that it cooks down pretty quickly, and this huge amount of raw spinach will cook down and shrink. So you always want to put in more than you actually think it will take. You also want to make sure that the spinach is getting to the bottom of the pan, so it can cook a little bit. So I'm sauteing a little bit more now, and the goal is to just get the spinach being cooked. So let that settle for a little bit, and let's check on our sweet potatoes. So now they're getting nice and soft. We're just gonna stir and put the top back on. Nice. The mushrooms are starting to give up some of their juices, and everything's starting to cook real nicely. I'm gonna grab a plate real quick. Hold on. Okay, so I have a plate. So I have a bowl that I'm going to put the vegetables in. And there's a couple of ways to do this. So I just grabbed a bowl to put the vegetables in. And there's a couple of ways to cook the scramble. So one way, and the way I'm going to teach you, is to cook the vegetables separate from the eggs. That gives you some freedom to make like eggs over easy, eggs over medium, and then what you would do is you would stack the sweet potatoes at the bottom, the vegetables on top, and then a nice fried egg or a nice over easy egg on top. Another way is to actually scramble the egg and scramble it in with the vegetables. Actually, that's what I'm going to do now. So I don't typically scramble in the bowl. I'm okay with just throwing it all in here because once you move everything around, it'll all break up. Yeah, so if you're not going to pre-scramble it, just make sure you're tapping the yolk so it breaks. So I'm just kind of going on the fly here. Sometimes I'm in the mood for an over easy egg. Sometimes I'm like, let's just scramble it. And you can also cook your sweet potatoes in the same pan, but just know it takes a lot longer to cook the sweet potatoes. And that's actually why I don't mix the two together. Another reason is sometimes I like to get the sweet potatoes nice and crispy in the pan, and I don't want to mix them because then it'll make the sweet potatoes really soft. So eggs will typically cook pretty fast. So if you like your eggs a little soft and not a hard scramble, I would actually serve it right now. I like mine in between, so right now I'm going to turn it off, and it will continue to cook the eggs while it's off. And I'm going to take the sweet potatoes. First I'm going to test them, and that's the best thing about being a cook, is that you're testing what you're cooking. Perfect. So you'll grab your plate, put the sweet potatoes on the bottom, and then grab your veggies and your eggs and put that on top. And then I also have some avocado you can put on top as well. And there you have it. a beautiful egg scramble for your holiday morning that takes less than 10 minutes. If you have any questions, comment below, or you can always send me an email at lifestylebylindsay.austin@gmail.com.